Finally டிவிக்காக ஒரு எக்ஸ்க்ளூசிவ் கான்வர்சேஷன் வித் சினிமாட்டோகிராஃபர் சித்தார்த் நூனி. வணக்கம்.
ஹலோ.
இண்டிபெண்டன்ட் படங்கள் பண்ணுறீங்க, சின்ன ஸ்கேல், சின்ன பட்ஜெட், ரெஸ்ட்ரிக்ஷன்ஸ்லாம் இருக்குது. இப்போ பெரிய படங்கள் கேப்டன் மில்லர் மாதிரி படங்கள் பண்ணும்போதோ இல்லை கோட் மாதிரி படங்கள் பண்ணும்போதோ,
See, I'll tell you what, all these filmmakers that I've worked with, they're all actually indie filmmakers. You take Gautam sir also.
Okay.
He's like a very indie, if you work with him, you understand he's very indie. Oh. Yeah, it's just that the star is bigger and all of that. But if you look at, say, VTV or, the action is very close to the subject. It's not, the cameras go not like on wide lenses.
அப்போனா ஜிவிஎம்குள்ள ஒரு இண்டி பாய் இருக்காரு.
100%.
Okay.
Because there is that man who wants to break the mold, like, he, even with VTK, we've done something interesting, like, with the lighting and with the camera, the long takes. It was never done before, right? Like, long takes. Padamul, almost second half, illame or long take.
Songs la kuda long take.
Yeah. That's very indie, if you think of it.
And of course, Arun
is an indie filmmaker.
Rocky panna, yeah.
So, even though the scale is bigger, the heart of it is very indie. Even VP sir, for that matter, Chennai 28, Saroja, you get the pattern, right? So
very true.
Yeah.
Oh, this is so nice.
So when I was in film school was when Chennai 28 came out. Saroja came over. I remember going to, I think 2005, 2006. So I remember going to Satyam Theatre many times, watching Saroja cracking up big time. So these are all, in the heart, they're actually very indie filmmakers.
ரொம்ப கரெக்ட்டுங்க. இந்த பேட்டர்னை கண்டுபிடிச்சா இண்டி தான் ஆக்சுவலாக. இப்போ கோட் பொறுத்த வரைக்கும் உங்களுடைய வெரி ஃபர்ஸ்ட் தாட் என்ன வந்துச்சு?
Now, I was excited because I was working with VP sir, because I really looked up to him. Like, for me, because Saroja is one of my favorite films. I love comedy, because I have watched Chennai 28 and then Saroja. These films are like iconic in their own right.
Correct.
And so I was very happy to get a call from him. Yeah.
What is that one memorable conversation between you and VP?
Now we are more relaxed and all of that, but I think when we started off, we were more focused on, like, I think he was writing a lot. So now we are able to, because we already, I think we're almost 50% done now. So
oh, nice.
So it's all happy about that. It's okay. I told him that, sir, I'm a big fan of, so he was quite excited. And I think he also wanted to work with somebody like, a younger crop. So I think something new, I think maybe, I don't know. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, he was appreciative of the, of me coming on board.
Oh, nice. That, yeah. And tell us about the joy of working with Vijay.
He's a wonderful person, honestly, I think. Like I said, I know that they can pull off any role. I just have to capture it. Ennoda vela vandu, I'm just capturing what they're giving. So that's why I prefer handheld. Handheld and I can move anywhere that I want. For example, if you're the actor, and we're always using like 100 mm, that kind of a thing. So even if the actor chooses to move in another way, I move.
அவங்களும் ஃப்ரீயாக இருக்காங்க.
Yeah. So I prefer it on my shoulder, on the shoulders, operators' shoulders, and like, we're just moving with the subject.
Correct.
And that's why I also don't do lighting very close to the subjects. I light up the space. Once you light up the space, the actors free to move anywhere.
And நீங்களும் ஃப்ரீயாக மூவ் பண்ணலாம்.
ஆமாம், அப்போ they can get into the character easily also.
Correct.
And the camera also becomes like a part of their performance.
Correct.
I'm having a great time. He's very kind and very easy to work with.
Amazing.
And for me, it's a big encouragement, because I'm kind of new to the industry, Tamil industry, and I'm like, it's my third Tamil film and all of that. So it's nice if you have that encouragement. So appreciation that, okay, you're okay. He really liked Miller's trailer. Like when he, in fact, he only, the day after the trailer release, he had called as like, it's very nice. Now the hype is like too much. He was very appreciative.
Oh, nice.
He said he'll watch it. I think hopefully he would have watched it by now. Yeah.
லூசியாலேருந்து ஒரு இண்டிபெண்டன்ட் ஃபிலிம்லேருந்து கொஞ்சமாக வளர்ந்து இப்போது கமர்ஷியல் பிகீஸ்லாம் நீங்கள் பண்ணிகிட்ருக்கீங்க. கேப்டன் மில்லராக இருக்கலாம், கோட்டாக இருக்கலாம், இப்படி நிறைய படங்கள் பண்ணிகிட்ருக்கீங்க. சித்தார்த் நூனிக்கு சினிமாட்டோகிராஃபி மேலே, ஃபில்ம்ஸ் மேலே இன்ட்ரெஸ்ட் எப்போ ஸ்டார்ட் ஆச்சு?
I think I studied at Sainik School. It's an army school. And so it was a boarding school. So I went to boarding school from 6th grade. It was a school where they encouraged all kinds of all-round development. It's an army school, Nala. So we used to get up at 5 o'clock in the morning and then we used to go exercise till 7:30. So and I had like a good peer group also who were like multifaceted. But one thing that stuck to me was I enjoyed being on stage. I think 6th grade was when I went on stage for the first time at Sainik School. So something that came naturally to me. It felt it felt that that was where I belonged, honestly. So 8th grade, I remember getting best actor for like in a play.
Best actor?
Yeah. So at that point, honestly, I wanted to be an actor when I was a kid because, and we always, my parents took me to theatres. Recently, I took my mother to Ramba Theatre in Rajahmundry. We watched Captain Miller in Telugu there. So it was like a beautiful moment because I remember going and watching Roja, and I remember my mother taking me to Kamal Hassan sir's films like Mahanadi, and so it kind of like life comes full circle on the mother. It was beautiful.
Best.
God's grace. But so that's where my life started. So summer holidays used to be like used to be about movies, and so even Rajiv Menon sir's Minsara Kanavu, which is Merupu Kalalu in Telugu. So these were all films which I think it's like they were too big for me. The beauty of it. And when Dil Se released, I think I was in 12th grade, and then I remember watching Dil Se again and again in the video, on the video cassette.
Correct.
Yeah, so there was always this fascination for films, even though nobody in my family is from films. So when I came to Chennai to do my engineering, for 4 years I was here. I did in IIT Madras. I did my electrical engineering.
நல்ல படிக்கிற புள்ள IIT மெட்ராஸ்ல படிச்சிருக்காரு.
Did my electrical engineering, and all these years I never had the thinking that okay, there can be a career in films.
Even till college?
Even till college. I had no idea because I come from like a small town. So when I graduated, I got a job, and then campus placement nala, and then I was in Chennai. And but after a few months, I kind of figured that okay, maybe I should give this a serious chance. So that is how I made the shift.
Okay.
And I think I was also a little overconfident. When you were young, you think that anything
is possible. Which is good.
Yeah, but now when I think how I did it, I don't know. If I wonder, when you look back, it seems like a wild decision, but I think that's the journey of life.
But being wild is good.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
Sometimes you need to be wise also. That wisdom has to
but
be
now,
there.
are you wild and wise or just wise?
I think the wildness has to be there for an artist. I think every day of Captain Miller was wild. We were all out of our comfort zone. For me, art is a record of time. Coming from cave paintings to right now, which is the most prevalent art form is film, mostly widely accepted. Every day, I feel that if you don't go out there and are a little scared, I don't think you're able to do something new.
அப்போது எந்த ஒரு சீனுக்கு அதை எக்ஸிக்யூட் பண்ணும்போது அந்த வைல்ட்னஸும் அந்த சின்ன பயமும் இருந்துச்சு உங்களுக்கு?
I think the first 10 days of the film was like it's the wildest time for me because it was completely new and I was doing action on a wide scale of such sort. And I've done action. Venthu Thanindhadhu, we had like nice action sequences. I really enjoyed them. But I think the first 10 days was the wildest thing because we had 3 cameras and sometimes one drone and like one, so these cameras were running simultaneously. For me, I've only worked with one camera before that. Inga vandu the action would be happening on a larger framework.
Yeah.
So there'd be a wide shot somewhere, a close up from somewhere. So it's like literally first 10 days I was running from one camera to the other before the shot was scanned. So that was like very scary. Firstly, because as a cinematographer, you want control over the image.
Correct.
Right? And the wild thing about Kutralam is the weather, which is a blessing and the biggest challenge of it. Because every minute the weather changes. And for a camera person, that's like the biggest nightmare. You need to set the exposure correctly. And for me, I kind of like set the image when I'm shooting. I don't want to do too much in post-production because, I want to see what I'm, I want to retain what I'm actually filming, capturing the moment. I believe in that because I come from independent cinema. And like, where we are more about... and come from the school of cinema verite, which is the French New Wave film of François Truffaut and Jean-Luc Godard, and these are my biggest inspirations for cinematography. I'm talking about the camera movements and like camera positioning and you know all of that. There are a few other inspirations also, like Christopher Doyle for color and for that slow motion and like you know getting into the psyche of the artist through color and the use of color. And then Vittorio Storaro for the grandness of his vision and like you know for the movement of camera and the framing. So I have multiple reference points which have come over the years.
Correct.
And Roger Deakins for his versatility, right?
True.
Roger Deakins does so many different films, and each film is so different from the other.
Yeah.
Because he's focusing on the story and not on the on anything else. He's telling the story. So these are all my biggest inspirations. So I primarily, as an independent filmmaker, I've been very inspired by the films of François Truffaut and Jean-Luc Godard. So I want the camera to be very intimate. I want the camera to be a part of the story. So I don't want it to be separate the audience. It's like I want them to feel very close to the action. So while filming Lucia also, that was what we had, like, you know, we had this 10 feet by 10 feet room, like where the 5 of those boys live. But the camera is so intimate, it's like right in front of you. So as if the audience is observing you at such close quarters, you know, even though it's a larger film, for me it's still the same. I want to focus on the story, I want to focus on the subject.
படம் எவ்வளோ பெருசாக வேணா இருக்கலாம், ஆனால் ஒரு சினிமாட்டோகிராஃபராக சித்தார்த் நூனி என்ன பண்ணணும்னு நினைக்கிறாருன்னா ஆடியன்ஸை படத்துக்கு பக்கத்தில் கேரக்டர்ஸ்க்கு பக்கத்தில் ரொம்ப நெருக்கமாக கொண்டு வந்து வைக்கணும்னு நினைக்கிறார்.
You know, I'm more focused on the subject. So I try to keep the camera as close as possible to the action.
So close-ups are your favorite?
Yeah. They say the close-ups are the most disturbing to the audience also, because the action is right in front of you. If a wide shot vechita, there's so much of eye room, right? You can look at the wide space, you can look at the sky, you can look at the beauty of the place. But if you keep a close-up, you have to look at the character's eyes.
Correct.
You have no escape from that. So which is the most disturbing camera angle? It's actually a close-up.
Oh, but do you believe it?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, it's very immersive, no?
True.
Yeah.
Disturbing as in a good way?
In a good way, because the audience has to be engaged.
Correct.
There's no escape.
இல்லை, நான் ஏன் கேட்க வந்தேன்னா, நான் டிஸ்டர்பிங்கிறது நெகட்டிவாக நினச்சிட்டேன்.
No, not disturbing in the sense, because
more impactful.
Yeah.
என்ன கேட்க வந்தேன்னா, இப்போ ஓப்பன்ஹைமரில் நோலன் வந்து மோஸ்ட்லி க்ளோஸ்அப்ஸாக யூஸ் பண்ணிருப்பாங்க.
Exactly. Okay, keep the camera close to the action.
ஓகே, ஒரு ஆக்ஷன் பிளாக் ஷூட் பண்ணும்போது எக்ஸ்ப்ளோஷன்ஸ் இருக்குது, மல்டிபிள் ஆக்ஷன்ஸ் போய்கிட்டு இருக்கு. அந்த நேரத்தில் அந்த மொமெண்ட்டை கரெக்டாக கேப்சர் பண்ணிடணும். A cameraman can't go for one more. ஒரு டெக்னிக்கல் ஃபால்ட்னால ஒன் மோர் எக்ஸ்ப்ளோஷன் நம்மளால் பண்ண முடியாதுல்ல. ஸோ அதை எப்படி மேனேஜ் பண்ணீங்க?
For example, the biggest action thing is the explosions, right?
Correct. Multiple explosions
that happen. I think the day we shot that, I think after I shot it had been a very overwhelming moment for me, because I remembered Apocalypse Now, that shot where it looked exactly like that. So we had prepared that we had multiple cameras. We had 2 Sony Venices, and then we had one high speed Sony Venices can shoot till 60 frames per second. And then we had the Red Raptor, which could shoot up to 120, and then we had like one drone, so it was like 4 cameras running parallelly.
Okay.
So we were all in one station, and we were making sure that everything is placed in the right angle, right time, right movement, all of that. So we also had to ensure the safety of the cameras and the camera operators.
Correct.
Because the explosions can really they're like
hit.
Yeah. So these all we had to plan before execution. So that was quite a moment, and we did, I think 2-3 times I think we've done it.
Oh.
Because you can place it and blast it.
Correct.
So because once the drone had to come in from the front and the back and then parallelly. So I think we've done it like 2-3 times. And so I think that's why that scene came out so powerfully.
Okay.
Yeah.
When we're talking about conveying emotions through framing and composition, camera angles, Captain Miller, அதாவது தனுஷ், ஆர்மியில் சேர்ந்துட்டார். கன்று கொடுத்துட்டாங்க கையில், ஒரு கூட்டத்தை காமிக்கிறாங்க. சுட சொல்லிட மாட்டாங்கல்ல அப்படின்னு அவர் கேட்குறாரு. ஷூட்டுன்னு சொல்லிட்டாங்க. இந்த சீன் உங்களுக்கு தெரியும், ஸ்கிரிப்டில் படிச்சிருப்பீங்க. இதுக்கு இந்த ஆங்கிள் தான் வைக்கணும்னு எப்படி டிசைட் பண்ணீங்க?
See, we go from macro to micro. Like, we go from a wider space to a closer, compactify the image. We see Dhanusha coming out of the woods and then looking at the thing, and then we see the ship coming. So, and then by the time this fire and Sollambodhu, we are sticking to the close-ups.
Okay.
And then the mayhem is going on in close
Yeah,
angles, right? We're not keeping it in a wide shot. So it's like, I feel that it kind of like draws you into the frame. So finally, when the actual moment comes, it's an extreme tight of Dhanusha looking at the
camera.
So the camera is here.
Point of view.
Yeah, like he's looking directly at the, the subject Madhuri, and then he has no go there, he has to shoot. So it's like, that's why close-ups are very powerful, like, because they draw you into the subject.
Okay.
So we kind of like go from a wider space to a, so that happens. Also, I think it's an editing choice also by the, how you are telling the story.
வைட்லேருந்து கொஞ்சம் கொஞ்சமாக பக்கத்தில் கடைசி அந்த மொமெண்ட் வரும்போது கேப்டன் மில்லர் அதாவது தனுஷோட முகத்தில் நம்ம வைக்கிறோம் ஸோ தட் இமோஷன்ஸ் டைரெக்டாக கன்வே ஆகும்.
And also if you remember when he's shooting, we're not showing the gun or anything, we're on his face. You're a tapa is shooting and we're just on his face.
Why is that?
That's what is important is what he is going through.
Correct.
So their style doesn't matter. The style is the close-up.
Yeah.
The visual style is what you call it, right? What is a better shot? Whether we include the gun and make it a cool shot, or the other option is keep it on his face and like get what he's internal.
Make audience feel what he feels.
Exactly.
Okay.
So I don't believe in style. I believe in substance. Style will come through substance.
Okay.
So it's called subtext. It's called subliminal messaging, right? Where you're not you're seeking to tell a story through your frame. So I studied my master's in cinematography in Europe, and there we had this exercise: write a script, 3-minute script or something like that, where you had to tell a story without dialogue. That's the cinematographer's biggest challenge. If you're able to tell a story without any dialogue. Like recently, we were watching a film. My friend and I, we went to Alliance Francaise to watch. There's a European film festival happening. We just happened to be there. So there was a movie playing. It's a Denmark film. It's a film from Denmark. It's about Chinese children being adopted in Denmark. It's about the story of one boy who's feeling lost because he's grown up he looks different from everyone and he's like...
Correct.
So to satisfy him one day, the parent says, okay, today we'll go to a Chinese restaurant. Okay? So the shot plays out on a wide shot and the three of them are sitting, all right? It's a Chinese meal, it's a wide shot. And there's just one Denmark flag on the table in red. You get what I'm saying, right? Yeah. That's subliminal messaging. If you look at that frame, there's this Chinese-looking kid in the center, and the foreign, white parents, and a Chinese background. But there's a strong flag. It's this much, but it makes a statement.
Correct. Chinese restaurant கூட்டு வந்துடலாம், பட் என்னதான் இருந்தாலும் அவன் டென்மார்க்ல தானே இருக்கான்.
Exactly. அந்த frame பார்த்தாலே உங்களுக்கு you understand that okay, this is what the story could be. So that is a cinematographer's job.
நீங்கள் கலர்ஸ் பற்றி பேசுனீங்க. இப்போ வெந்து தனிந்த காடு படணும்னா உங்களுக்கு வந்து ஐடியா கௌதம் சொல்கிறாரு, ஸ்கிரிப்ட் படிக்கிறீங்க ஆர் நரேட் பண்ணுறாங்க. வாட் இஸ் த ஃபர்ஸ்ட் திங் தட் யூ டூ?
I haven't done too many films so far. I feel I should be able to connect to the story. Okay. For me, I have seen a certain kind of cinema over my life, right? Like I like Slumdog Millionaire. When Gautam sir called me for the film, I immediately, connected to the story of what the film is about. For me, I feel like this is my Slumdog Millionaire. This is my tribute to.
So that is the color tone, that is the approach that you want to try.
Yeah. Oh. And the inspiration for the films were multiple. Like one is Slumdog Millionaire, and then Blade Runners or the colors, the neons. So for me, that came to my mind immediately. So when I thought Venthu Thanindhadhu Kaadu, for me it was like urban sodium. So we went with that look for the entire
urban
film.
sodium.
Urban sodium is the filter we used for the film. So, and Gautam sir is also he's very appreciative of like if you want to give something new, he's game. He's like, he loves it. Maybe one example just immediately comes to my mind is Appukutti sir and Simbu sir. Appukutti sir is explaining about Bombay. in Venthu Thanindhadhu. They're sitting next to
அந்த ரூம்க்குள்ள உட்கார்ந்துட்டு இங்க எல்லாம் மெஷின் இங்க நம்ம வெறும் ஸ்க்ரூ அந்த மாதிரி ஏதோ
Yeah. So that moment happened very spontaneously. We planned for it. Suddenly rain started. And Gautam was like, can we shoot? I'm like, yeah, let's do it. And we shot, the train was like for something 15-20 minutes out of that. We shot that scene in that 15-20 minutes when there was actual rain going in the background. It's almost like for me, that rain symbolizes something.
That's something.
Second thing is also there is a little bit of sadness about that moment. That this boy is getting sucked into that,
this machine.
Yeah, this machine, right? This world that he's not prepared for.
Yeah.
Right? For me, it's like tears, you know.
Yeah.
It's like tears in the rain. Like Blade Runner, there's a iconic moment in the movie, original Blade Runner, where there's a dialogue of tears.
There's a conversation.
Yeah. So that was actually ad-libbed. It wasn't written down, is what I hear. So these add that extra layer of subliminal messaging.
Okay. Lucia idea was சொன்னோனே, what was the very first thought உங்களுக்கு? Lucia.
I thought this guy was crazy. I'm like, how is he thinking we'll shoot this in 50 lakhs? That was my honest thought. I mean, in a good way. I'm like, this guy. I mean, I really admired Pawan's work before that, with that handheld camera and the zoom ins, and like, you know, very excited and sold on the idea. And just that I didn't feel I was ready or, you know, capable to, like, you know, take on this project. So I had written to him. I said that, Pawan, I would like to work with you. I saw that you were starting a new film, so I would like to, if you'd consider me for the film.
Oh, nice.
Lucia was very experimental for me. Like, you know, even Pawan is a very experimental filmmaker. By God's grace, I've always got the opportunity to work with experimental filmmakers. The kind of camera that we chose, the kind of lensing.
என்ன மாதிரி?
We shot with a 5D, Canon 5D. And I remember Pawan coming down to Chennai, we bought some lenses at here only. And they locked me up and took me to Bangalore. I was living in Chennai back then. But handheld. We got this 3,000 rupees spider rig.
Okay.
So that's what was used for the entire film. So we went as cheap as possible. So it was like a beautiful team effort.
Nice.
So I will always cherish it for the rest of my life.
Nice.
I'm grateful. Yeah. Because that was all handheld and very edgy, and you know, we shot very, you know, indie style.
Yeah.
So I think he wanted to bring in that. And the same with Gautam sir also. So I was like, so see, I've seen Sid's filmography, and I felt that would suit this world. So people are calling you because of what you've done before.
Because of previous work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I honestly feel that more than all this networking, this and all, people put too much of emphasis on that. But I feel that you have to focus on your work, focus on your craft. Like, I mean, that's also important, that you have to network, you have to go out there and put yourself out there. You can't.
But do you do that?
Yeah. I write to directors who I like and say that
nice.
I really admire your work. I'd love to work with you if possible.
Even today?
Yeah, of course. Why not? Why should I, like, see, we are a newcomer till the day we die. Why would you even think that you've done something? I feel that once a movie is done, it's over. Like, I mean, of course, the legacy stays. I mean, we're able to talk about Lucia. I'm really grateful for that. But I can't sit on my, okay, I've done a movie, so you're a newcomer till the day you die. If you feel that you've done, I've achieved something, I think the next day it'll affect your work. I've been in places where I felt that, it's easy. That's what I felt. I have had my falling also, like, you know.
Oh, you have realized?
Yeah. If I get overconfident, I know I'll fall, like, you know. And I think I was younger, immature at that point. But now I understand that you're a newcomer till the day you die. It's like, this is the last day you can do this. What will you do? It's not a crown on your head. It is actually a responsibility. And I totally believe in that. And if you're taking up a project, it's your responsibility to take it through.
Correct.
Yeah.
இப்போ நீங்கள் ஃபெயிலிங்னு சொன்னீங்க, அது என்ன மாதிரி? ஃபார் எக்ஸாம்பிள், கன்வே பண்ணணும்னு நினச்சதை கன்வே பண்ண முடியாமல் போகிறது ஃபெயிலிங்கா? ஒரு மாதிரி ஷூட் பண்ணி அது சரியாக வராமல் போகிறது தான் நீங்கள் ஃபெயிலிங்?
I think it's about also picking the projects for the right reasons. இது பண்ணால் எனக்கு அது வரும். That will never happen. It hasn't. You should do it because you like doing it. Because you'll be in it for the next 1 year. If you're doing it for the wrong reasons, then you will suffer this 1 year and the suffering will come into the film.
அங்கே ரிஃப்ளெக்ட் ஆயிரும் அது.
100%. You're doing it for the wrong reasons.
நீங்கள் அடுத்து பிராமன் நாமன் பண்ணுறீங்க. போஸ்டர்லேயே லூசியாவும் பிராமணாவும் அப்படியே டிஃப்ரெண்ட்.
Is it? Okay.
ஏன்னா கலர்ஸே நான் சொல்கிறேன், இந்த சாய்ஸ் ஆஃப் கலர்ஸாக இருக்கலாம்.
Right.
அதில் ஒரு சின்ன ஒரு குவர்க்கி டச் இருக்கும் அந்த ஃபில்மில்.
See, for me, I was drawn to that because it spoke about the caste system of India. It was a take on that issue.
Correct.
So for me, at that point, that was what drew me to it. And also, Q is a interesting filmmaker. So the technical choices were discussed, and we were like, let's go very minimal, say handheld camera, and also the wide angle lensing. Genre called mumblecore or something like that, if I'm not wrong, where it's it's a verbose.
A conversational
film. So it's comedy through conversation. Long takes where people are just talking. There we discussed that, okay, let's do wide lensing. Because there were 4 characters.
இப்போ காமெடின்னு வரும்போது 4 கேரக்டர்ஸ் இருக்காங்கன்னா ஒரு வைடு வச்சு வித் லெஸ் கட்ஸ் அப்படின்னு நீங்கள் சொல்கிறீங்க. அது எதனால்?
That's the genre. So there the importance is more about the chemistry between these 4 characters. Instead of cutting to a close here or this thing, keep them all in one frame.
So that audience will know all 4 of them.
Yeah,
and exactly. All 4 of them together.
Yes. So nice. That was the visual style that we went for, and then wide lensing, and then cut to like long lensing close-ups on the madri.
Okay.
You are what you hear, you are what you see.
Yeah.
The kind of music you listen to.
Yeah.
The kind of paintings that you watch. So it's not just about films, right?
Inspirationsன்றது கதையில இருந்து மட்டும் தான் வருமா?
No, it could come from a painting. That's what I learned from Rajiv sir. Like Rajiv sir taught us how to appreciate paintings.
Okay.
He is a master. I mean, he is like a true teacher. Like, for example, we were taught about Renaissance paintings. One of our early practical lessons was to replicate a painting that you... So, Rembrandt was one of my biggest inspirations. Rembrandt is a Renaissance painter. Rajiv sir had taught us that, art is not just, just about cinema. It's also about... It's a record of time. How did early cave paintings come into being? It is basically because they were all sitting around fire and the shadows were being cast on the walls, and that's where they started painting with the charcoal and things like that. So art is a record of time. Like if cinema is a 100-year-old medium, 125-year-old medium. So we are in this phase. Tomorrow it will be probably something else.
Correct.
So it's an ever evolving process. We are exploring human stories. So for me, a film is not a film; it's a story. So we are all storytellers. Like as a cinematographer, I'm a storyteller. Just that my medium is the
camera. Yeah, visuals.
It's a camera.
Yeah.
It's my medium.
It's your pen.
Yeah, it's my pen.
ஒரு ஆக்ஷன் சீக்வன்ஸ்னு வரும்போது நீங்கள் இருப்பீங்க கேமரா பின்னாடி, கரெக்டாக? உங்கள் மேலே அடிபட்டுருக்கா என்னைக்காவது?
Once this in Captain Miller, Dhanush throws a knife at the guy, and then there's 2 stabs, and then he throws the knife at the guy standing in one corner. And then first in the angle முடிச்சிட்டோம். அதுக்கப்புறம் I went behind the guy, and then I was with the camera, and then I see 3 takes ஆச்சு. I think 3rd take or something like that. And the 4th take, I somehow felt that கத்தி வருது, and then it came and hit me. And so I just walks off, and I was like, and then I went down because it hits you really hard, no?
Yeah.
And then he didn't realize. And then sir came back like, "Are you okay?" So that happened.
கேப்டன் மில்லரோட ஃபர்ஸ்ட் ஹாஃபில் நான் நோட்டீஸ் பண்ணது என்னென்னா, ஹேண்டலில் பயங்கர மூமெண்ட்ஸ் இருந்துச்சு, பயங்கர ஃப்ளூடாக இருந்துச்சு. பட் செகண்ட் ஹாஃபில் கொஞ்சம் செட்டில் ஆன மாதிரி எனக்கு ஃபீல் ஆச்சு. இஸ் தட் ட்ரூ?
Yeah, maybe. I think we were... so we needed to have like very good operators on the film, because Arun wanted like very... Like, it's a high quality, technically strong film. We always had 2 cameras, and we shot with the Sony Venice, which is one of the heaviest cameras, not very ergonomically designed. Alexa, Mini LF and all of that are very ergonomically designed, which means that the weight is balanced properly.
Correct.
So Venice is more, they have other positives, which is that they have dual ISO, which is why we could shoot with fire in the night. One ISO, standard ISO is ISO 500, which is good for day. We have another ISO which is 2500, which is good for night.
So ரெண்டுத்துக்கும் யூஸ் பண்ண முடியாது.
So they had that positive.
Okay.
So without that I couldn't have shot Miller in the nights, because we shot all of Miller with fire.
Correct.
The whole night.
Correct.
So the camera had that positive, but it's one of the heaviest cameras. And even if heavy camera, if it is ergonomically designed, you can balance it. The weight has to be here. Inga enna it's front loaded. You can't hold it for too long.
Pull pannum keela.
Gravity vandu it pulls down. Otherwise, if it's ergonomically balanced, the weight will come here.
Shoulder. Yeah.
So that was one of the biggest challenge. I think we had like many operators come in for a day and ran away andha madri because we had multiple cameras and all of that. Finally, we got like 2 good operators, Naveen and Zayed and Solita. They've done a great job for the film.
Okay.
So I think towards the end of the film, we kind of had like more stable.
Miller-oda emotional imbalance and confusions appadi nadachikta nana.
Sometimes the film has its own path. So
like how I received it.
Yeah.
Can you suggest us a few films where we can observe and learn about cinematography, colors and composition, staging?
More than films, you need to look for cinematographers. A cinematographer's body of work. Because a cinematographer's work changes over a period of time, right? Based on the inspirations, because you will not be the same person that you're today 10 years later. There will be changes, right?
Okay.
So in your personality, in the things that you enjoy, people do tattoos, right? I'm like, how do you pick this? Because 10 years later, you might not like it. Then what will you do?
Very true.
Correct, Dane?
Yeah.
So these are all things, you need to keep space for growth. So observe a cinematographer's work over a period of time. So you needed to discover your own identity, your own way of looking at life.
So adudha work la reflect avudha.
Exactly. See, your ideology, your way of looking at the world is what is going to come into your films.
What is your understanding of the world?
I'd like to be a fly on the wall. Basically, you're just observing. So I like sitting in cafes and watching people where you can sit and observe. So I would urge people to observe. As a camera, you're observing.
True. True.
What are you doing? You're observing the action.
Adur kannu avladane.
So I like being that.
Nice.
If you think of my philosophy of cinematography, I'm an observer. You understand that, this is not a race. This is a marathon.
Sprint illa marathon.
So filmmaking is not a sprint. It is a lifelong journey of learning, is what I've understood now. It's not a sprint, okay, if I do this film, I'll get that. If I do that, then I'll get that. No, it's a marathon. You just enjoy what you're doing because you're unique. Each person their point of view is unique.
Correct.
Right? And audience is just watching what is your take on life, your take on.
லூசியாலேருந்து இந்த அளவுக்கு வரும்போது சம்டைம்ஸ் இந்த ஸ்கேலை ஹேண்டில் பண்ண முடியாமல் போகிறதுக்கான வாய்ப்பு இருக்குது. பட் நீங்கள் வீட்டுக்கே ஹேண்டில் பண்ண விதமும் சரி, மில்லர் ஹேண்டில் பண்ண விதமும் சரி எனக்கு ரொம்ப பிடிச்சிருந்துச்சு.
Thank you so much.
Very, very happy.
I had a great time with this interview. Thank you for asking very nice questions.
Acho, thank you so much. Thank you.
Hello, this is Siddhartha Nuni, cinematographer. Subscribe to Finally TV.
Hi, this is Karthik Subraj. I'm Arun Matheswaran.
I'm Ravi Kumar. நான் உங்கள் சாந்தனு பாகிராஜ்.
ஹாய் எல்லாருக்கும் வணக்கம், நான் ரியோராஜ்.
இந்த வீடியோவை பார்த்துட்டு இருக்கவங்க ஃபைனலி டிவி சேனலுக்கு சப்ஸ்கிரைப் பண்ணுங்கள்.
ஃபைனலி டிவிக்கு சப்ஸ்கிரைப் பண்ணுங்கள்.
ஃபைனலி டிவிக்கு சப்ஸ்கிரைப் பண்ணுங்கள்.
ஃபைனலி டிவிக்கு சப்ஸ்கிரைப் பண்ணுங்கள். வாட்ச் அவுட் ஃபார் அப்டேட்ஸ்.
ஃபைனலி டிவிக்கு சப்ஸ்கிரைப் பண்ணுங்கள். இந்த வீடியோஸ் உங்களுக்கு பிடிச்சிருந்தா லைக் பண்ணுங்கள். ஏதாவது ஒப்பீனியன்ஸ் ஏதாவது சொல்லணும் அப்படின்னா கீழே கமெண்ட்டில் சொல்லுங்கள்.
தேங்க் யூ ஸோ மச் ஃபார் யர் லவ் அண்ட் சப்போர்ட். உங்களுக்கு இந்த வீடியோவில் என்னெல்லாம் பிடிச்சது என்னெல்லாம் பிடிக்கல அப்படின்றத யூடியூப்பில் இந்த வீடியோ கீழே கமெண்ட்ஸில் சொல்லலாம். அது மட்டும் இல்லாமல் ஃபேஸ்புக், ட்விட்டர், இன்ஸ்டாகிராமில் ஃபைனலி டிவி அடுத்தடுத்த அப்டேட்ஸ்க்கு ஃபாலோ பண்ணுவோம். தேங்க்யூ. மறந்துட்டேன் பாருங்கள், ட்விட்டர் கிடையாதுப்பா, எக்ஸ்லையும் நாங்கள் இருக்கோம்.